supply constrained. Those are the two most important words I've heard so far in this earnings season, other than, of course, quantum, of course. For example, last night, David Zinsner, he's the excellent CFO of Intel, stressed several times that his company's supply constrained for a host of products and, quote, industry supply has tightened materially. Oh, boy, did that work. These shortages are why Intel was able to report sharply better than expected earnings. When you're supply constrained, you have the ability to raise prices, and that's the holy grail in any industry. Now, we keep hearing this phrase. Consider three of the strongest stocks in this market: SanDisk, Western Digital, and Seagate. You've seen them on the new high list all the time. They make storage devices vital for the data center explosion. All three have pricing power. This is a big deal because these three companies have struggled for pricing for years. They're textbook commodity tech plays. When there's too much supply, they can't make the numbers. But when supply is tight, demand is outrageous. Holy cow. Boom! I'm going to add Micron and MU to the list of companies whose products are in short supply. That allows these stocks to go higher for far longer than most investors expect. Sometimes it can go for years. AMD is similarly supply constrained for much of its product line. CEO Lisa Su never abandoned traditional PCs and her zeal to be in GPUs. Smart thinking. That plus talk of AMD's quantum work with IBM on yesterday's call lifted the stock 7.6% to a new high. And, of course, NVIDIA is the most supply-constrained of all. They're supply-constrained on everything. That's how you become the biggest company in the world. Why don't these companies have enough product? Well, some of it's because the storage needs of artificial intelligence are off the charts, impossible to meet. Some of it's because the semiconductor capital equipment companies, they didn't manufacture enough of their own machines because they just didn't anticipate so many orders, and those machines are needed to make all the stuff these guys do. A fine company like Micron, which I typically interview every 3 months, told me to lower my expectations of the coming demand just a few quarters ago. I listened, but how could I know better than they did, right? But it turns out I was right. Micron was being too conservative. It's pretty shocking. Who else is supply constrained outside of tech? Well, how about Boeing? Oh, boy. Next week, Boeing reports, and I think they're going to talk about supply constraints for all of their planes, not just the narrow-body 737s that are heavily regulated by the FAA after Boeing's series of horrendous mishaps. General Electric, RTX, and Honeywell, all big Boeing suppliers and aircraft suppliers in general, are reaping the benefits of the outsized demand for planes and the attendant maintenance boom. Now, here's one that's not kind of fallen off that people are a little down on right now I think's wrong. GE Vernova. It's supply constrained with its power equipment. They make giant turbines that burn natural gas, principal energy source powering the data center. I think both GE Vernova and Boeing will be winners. One of the reasons is because they can make machines that cost up to $100 million a piece. Ordering these big-ticket items is the easiest way for our trading partners to ingratiate themselves with President Trump, short of, like some sort of like bribery or something. Those orders go a long way toward closing any trade deficit. Finally, one more, gold. It's always been hard to find gold, but with the precious metal now going for $4,100 an ounce, you'd think a lot more gold would come to the market, wouldn't you? It hasn't, though. And foreign gold supplies have become harder and harder to bring to market because the host countries have been very tough on terms. Not surprisingly, they want a bigger cut now. And a lot of these countries aren't exactly enthusiastic about contract enforcement or property rights or even the rule of law. In the end, we have more demand than supply in a host of industries, and that's the ticket for good stock performance. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I like to say, as always, for market summary, I promise I'll find it just for you right here on Mad Money. I'm Jim Cramer. See you Monday.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on X. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadMentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.